All right, so yes, we are recording again. Again, my name is David Howard, Dade County High School, Intro to Construction, Carpentry 1, fourth period. We are doing our Zoom virtual class at this time. We are standing, we're going to say our pledge to the flag. Everybody unmute. I want everybody to be able to hear you guys in the background doing our pledge. All right, and we stand, salute, and we pledge. All right. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of
America,
and to the republic which
stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. All right. Now, when we're in class, we all know we actually do it in unison. It actually sounds a whole lot better. Right there, you just hear bits and pieces of each person, but it's great. It's America. We're proud of our flag. We actually want to respect it. Now, today's class, we're going to continue on with our discussion about our standard, which is ACIC 1-1.1. It's the demonstrate employability skills required by business and industry. Now, some of you guys were actually in my class the other day, and we talked about the nonverbal communication part of employability skills. Those of you that were not with us, we're going to do a little refresher. When we were talking about communicating nonverbally, we were talking about, number one, hand gestures. You can wave at somebody. All right? Hopefully, you use your entire hand when you wave. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, another type of nonverbal communication is emailing. When we actually email back and forth, that is a form of communicating, but it is nonverbal, which means you don't actually hear the words coming out of somebody's mouth. Now, the one thing that we did mention the other day, and this is the truth, so help me God. Emails are now permissible in court. If you send somebody an email threatening them or promising them something, it is permissible in court. If they ask you a question about a debt, about something, it is permissible, which means you can be held accountable. All right, now text messages, same way. We all have one of these. We all know that we use it quite a bit, probably more than we should. Text messages are also allowed now to enter into court. So remember that when you're sending somebody a text message, it can actually be used in court against you. And then we talked about the digital media platforms, all the different ones, which would be your social media, where you guys like to spend a lot of your time, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. And now we can even bring into it our Zoom classrooms, okay? So all that digital media is a way of nonverbal communication. Now, the one thing is I'm actually verbal. Right now, you guys are not. All right, and then as we got into the nonverbal, we actually started talking about writing documents. The documents that we talked about the other day was a resume, where you actually fill out a resume and you're actually trying to sell yourself. That is where you're actually physically trying to get an employee to choose you over the next person. So right now, everybody that's in this class, if I had to choose one of you to work, what I want to do is be able to look at your resume and figure out why Smiley is better than Tate, why Tate is better than Israel, and so on and so forth. That is your resume. You are trying to sell yourself to an employer, okay? Now, the one thing that we talked about on the resume, there are certain things that you do not ever want to put on your resume. The first thing you do not want to put on your resume is your social security number. Don't put it on there. There's too many people that are actually stealing information, and they can use your social security number with your date of birth that's on there, your address and your phone number. They can use that information to hack you and get a lot of stuff from you, bank accounts, credit cards, all that kind of stuff. Don't do your social security number. And then the second most important thing to not put on your resume, hopefully you guys are writing this all down, either in your memory or on paper, and that is a lie, L-I-E. Do not lie on your resume, because I promise you I've done it myself, not the lie part, but I've taken somebody's resume with them sitting in front of me, and I've asked them a question that I knew was a lie, and they had no idea what I was talking about. So if you put it on your resume, make sure it's truthful and make sure it's something that you really know about. If you actually stood back and watched somebody run a concrete mixer, but you've never physically run it, don't put down concrete mixer operator, because all you've done, you can put down concrete mixer observer, but don't put operator, okay? And then on your resume, make sure that you make it look good. Do not have typos. Go through and use a spell check. The neat part is on ours, it actually will underline it in red or blue, depending on which program you're using. It actually has the squiggly lines and tells you that there's something wrong. Pretty neat. It tells you there's something wrong. Now, looking up at the screen at the ones that are in here, I don't remember any issues from, let me see who else is up here, make sure nobody else joined in. Eli, I will pick on you. You actually had some grammatical errors in your resume. And I will show you what those are. I just didn't do it on your assignment you turned in because I think if you take the time to do the assignment, I'm not going to gig you for it. Now, when we actually, if we ever come back to class this year or next year, I will talk to you about your resume and help you fix those grammatical mistakes. Okay? So just remember that. Go over it, make sure it is all there. Now, the neat part about being in high school, all of you guys are in high school. You are allowed to put everything that you did in high school on your resume when you are a high school student or 1 or 2 years out of school, okay? So I got a bunch of resumes from people that had this much information. Here's the full sheet of paper. They put this much information. I know that's a lie, okay? One of them, I'm not gonna name him by name, but I know he's done more than what he said. Oh, somebody from Texas calling, I'm sure it's a scam. Anyway. So just make sure you make your resume look good. If somebody gets a resume and it has this much information on it, the next resume has this much, your resume is automatically going to go to the bottom because this person obviously has done more, or at least they listed more. So just make sure you put it on there. If you are in a club, Skills USA, TSA, FBLA, whatever, write it on there. If you were an officer, make sure you notate that. If you actually participated in a sport, put it on there. If you participate in a sport multiple years, put those down there. You're trying to sell yourself as being better than the other person. Now, does a sport, if Smiley played football for 4 years, does that help him if he wants to go and get a job as being a computer person? Possibly not. But the 4 years of dedication and him actually putting forth the effort to do it would make him a more reliable candidate because it shows that he's dedicated. So just remember that. Those things that you think might not be important actually show that you are dedicated. All right, so on the resume, we've beaten it to death. We talked about it all years that I've been here. A resume is very important. You're trying to sell yourself, make yourself look better. The one thing that we're going to talk about today as far as a nonverbal communication, and it is part of the writing document, which is also part of our standard, is a job application. Now, I submitted this to you online in our stream on our Google Classroom. I actually had Tate change this over to a Google Doc. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will. Hopefully, it is a fillable document. Tate, did you notice that?
Well, I would have to go look. Hang on.
All right. If
Yeah,
it
it
is
is.
fillable, it is?
Yep.
All right, so the good part is if it's available, that means on the screen, you actually write in the answer, which is great. If it wasn't, if you can't pull it up, all you have to do is turn in a Google Doc with these answers in the right order, and that would still count as you doing the assignment. Hopefully it is one where you can actually fill it in like he says, you can access it, and it will be great. Now, the one thing I want you to talk about, or I want to talk about today on a job application. You guys are high school seniors, or high school students. You're not going to have all of this information that they're asking for. And I'm going to give you guys, hold on. You guys are going to go for a ride. Fasten your seatbelt. And of course, it has to run over the cord. All right, so now you guys are getting up here to this beautiful, lovely, wonderful, artistic piece of equipment called a whiteboard that I love to draw on. Now, the one thing that I want you guys to understand about filling out a document that has a question that you do not need to answer. Everything on a resume, or I'm sorry, everything on the job application needs to be filled in. Those two letters right there, when you're just starting out, are going to be the most important letters. Does anybody know what those two stand for?
Not applicable.
Non-applicable.
No answer.
No answers, what some people call it, but it's non-applicable is the actual definition that we're looking for. That means it does not apply to you, okay? Now, I'm gonna go through here real fast. I'm going to find one. Very first page, education. It says college. Do not put the college that you attend, that you want to attend. All right, if you go right now and look on some people's Facebook page, it says they go to SpongeBob University. Don't put that on there. Just put NA. All right, NA. That means it does not apply to you. Everybody understand? That would be the time that you unmute and say yes or no.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Evan, I didn't hear from you.
Yes.
Mateo. Grace.
Yes, sir.
Patrick, I didn't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
All right, very good. So NA, remember that. If you have to write that down, write it down. You take a Sharpie right now and write it on your forehead. So that way when I see you again on the screen, I'll see it. So filling out the job application. I am not going to share these with the government. If you're wanted in 7 states, I'm not going to rat you out. I want you to fill this out correctly. Phone numbers. I'm not going to call you and ask you to buy farmland in the middle of Montana. Uh-oh, somebody's dragging. Fill this out correctly. All right, now here's the one thing that you guys are going to find on here that a lot of companies actually look at more than anything else. Your references. Smiley, what do you think a reference is on an application?
Like for us, it'd probably be a teacher.
All right, but what
Or
is
an
the reference?
employer.
What does that actually mean if it says a reference?
Like a former employer that you know will say good things about you.
All right, there you go. He hit the magic number. That will say good things about you. Do not put down an enemy as a reference, because when bosses call, and believe me, I've called that's not really a good, I have called very many references asking about people. All right. Now, if Smiley is trying to get a job as a youth pastor and he puts down his buddy that he goes to the bar and drinks with every night, that's not a good reference. So what does Smiley do when he gets off work? Man, he comes and meets me at the local tavern and we drink beer all night long. That's not a good person to put down as a reference. Okay. Now, again, you guys are high school students, but it's still, you need to understand filling out a job application is very important. If you worked for somebody, all right, Eli, you said that you worked, who was it you said you worked with mowing grass?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather. All right. If you mowed the grass for somebody and they were like, man, that grandson of yours he's probably the best person I've ever seen mowing grass. Write that person down. All right. Get their number from them. And then that way, no, don't put your social. Thank you, Smiley. That was a good question. On that NA, you can put, on social security number, you can put NA, or you can put upon request, UPON request. That means you will give it to them when they request it. There's no sense in them having it on there. And that's funny that I didn't even look at this real close, as you guys can see. So I'm saying that out loud, but hey, that's part of it. All right, so again, Eli, that would be a good reference for you if you go out mowing grass. Now, don't put your grandpa. You want to put somebody that you worked with or something like that, not grandpa. Now, you can on this one because it's not going to hurt. All right, let's look at another one. All right, previous employment. You guys are high school students. You might not have ever worked a job at a company that took out taxes and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. Eli, put down your grandpa as previous employment, okay? Where it says company name and all that stuff, just put Gilbreth Enterprises. We actually, it grows, we mow it, whatever you want to put. And then the last page on this actually shows military service. Do not put, if you're wanting to go to the military, Again, that would be NA. A lot of these questions when you are a high school student will be NA, but it still gives you the chance to go in and fill out a job application. Okay? Now, again, the job application ties right in with the resume. Why would we not exaggerate and put on a lie on an application?
Somebody can call you out on it.
Yeah, somebody might call you out. Very good. Devin, why would you say we shouldn't lie?
She should always be truthful.
All right, should always be truthful. That's one of the commandments. All right. Someone I'm looking at here. Patrick, why do you think it's important not to lie on a job application?
Because if you say you can do something out of the ordinary and they try to get you to do it, you won't be able to do it.
Right, it's gonna make you look bad. That you write down that you're the best person in the world at doing something, then they say, hey, show me, you're not gonna be able to do it. So all those answers are correct. Everything is legitimate. It's wonderful. It's the greatest, the best thing in the whole wide world. All right, now what we're gonna talk about now is actually our coronavirus, COVID, whatever they call that other word, 19. At this time, nonverbal communication is very important. Why do you guys think that nonverbal communication is important now compared to what it was 3 months ago? Eli.
Because of social distancing, we can't really talk in person anymore, or at least shouldn't.
Because of social distancing, they want to actually keep us away, which means don't go out and play tennis, obviously. Oh, sorry. Eli.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those of you that joined in after Eli, he told us he's been out playing tennis with friends, not paying attention to the rules. But anyway, so yes, nonverbal communication has become very important. Now, how many of you guys have been to the grocery store or to Walmart or any store here in the past couple of weeks? Anybody?
I have.
Who was that?
Smiley.
All right, Smiley has. Anybody else?
Me.
I have.
All right, so a couple people have. Here's the part that makes me mad. I go to Food City. That's where I shop. All right, I know all the kids that work in there. Yes, all right, great. Patrick, I've seen you in there before. You've seen me. Caden, Mary, I used to see you in there when you worked there. The part that makes me the maddest, we are under orders to social distance. That means to give space. Do not go into places. Do not go and do like we used to do. When I'm pushing my little buggy in Food City and I see a mom, a dad, a baby, a 3 or 4 year old, and a high school student all walking together, touching everything they see, because you guys know how high school kids are. Ooh, look, it's Reese Cups. Up, put them down. Ooh, look, it's Monster. That's Max. Anyway, you guys know that kid is touching everything in that store. That little 2 or 3 year old is also touching everything in that store. Then, like me, when we used to go with my wife, I would touch everything. Oh, I won't. No, you can't have it. No. We have got to get better at following these rules, okay? If we go in the grocery store now, it's me, or my wife goes by herself. Almost shot a bird, sorry. It's me or my wife. We try every way in the world to not go into a store with 2 of us. Now, I will look at you in the camera and tell you, we went to Walmart the other day, and we both went in the store. But when we both went in, I went this way, she went this way, because I told her if we both go in, it will cut our time in the store in half, okay? Because if I had let her go in, some of you have met her before, she'll spend 3 hours in Walmart and have 3 things in her buggy after 3 hours, because she likes to go and look. I don't. I go in a store and I come out. Now, if I go into Lowe's, I can spend 3 hours in Lowe's, but I still come out with a lot of stuff because I like to shop at Lowe's and Home Depot and Ace Hardware. But anyway, do your part. Don't go play tennis with the neighbors, all right? Don't go out here and get in a group. Max had one of the high school players actually call him and say, hey, 10 of us are going to play a game of basketball. Do you want to come and play with us? That's wrong. don't do it. Of course, we told him no, he's not allowed to. Most of you guys in this group are at least 16, so you guys can drive. Don't go and get in a group and sit there and spread this crap going around. Remember, we got to do our part to try to stop it. So, nonverbal communication, which is our class today, ties right into what we're going through as a country. Now that we have a confirmed case in Dade County, it actually is hitting here in our hometown now. So do your part to help stop the spread. All right.